Empowerment through detachment is a powerful mindset that helps individuals become unshakable in their sense of self-worth. In a world where external validation and the opinions of others often define our value, detachment offers a path to freedom and inner strength. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring others or becoming indifferent, but rather letting go of the need to seek approval, control, or validation from outside sources. When we detach from these dependencies, we create space for self-awareness, confidence, and authenticity to flourish. Our worth becomes rooted in our own values, actions, and beliefs, rather than being influenced by others' judgments or expectations. By embracing detachment, we reduce the emotional turmoil caused by the fear of rejection or the pressure to meet others' standards. We focus on what we can control, our thoughts, responses, and choices, and release the need to manipulate or seek approval. This leads to healthier boundaries, stronger relationships, and greater emotional resilience. Detachment allows us to prioritize our own growth and well-being, creating connections that are built on mutual respect rather than dependency. Ultimately, detachment empowers us to stand firm in our self-worth, helping us navigate life with greater confidence and authenticity. By letting go of external validation, we cultivate a sense of value that cannot be diminished by the opinions of others. Number 1. The Stoic approach. How to stay calm. When he's playing hard to get, the Stoic approach to staying calm when someone is playing hard to get revolves around understanding and embracing the principles of self-control, acceptance, and detachment. According to Stoicism, our inner peace should not be dependent on external circumstances, including how others behave or respond to us. When a person is distant or playing hard to get, it's natural to feel uncertainty, frustration, or the temptation to pursue their attention desperately. However, Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, rather than becoming consumed by what is beyond our control. One of the key Stoic practices is the concept of memento mori, the awareness of life's impermanence. When someone appears distant, the Stoic acknowledges that they cannot control the actions or decisions of others. Instead of clinging to the desire for their attention, we recognize that trying to force or control outcomes leads only to suffering. By accepting that we cannot dictate how others behave, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil of attachment and dependency. This mindset allows us to remain calm and composed, knowing that our worth and peace are not tied to another's behavior. Another Stoic principle is the idea of voluntary discomfort, which teaches that we should train ourselves to endure situations that are not ideal without allowing them to disturb our inner tranquility. If someone is playing hard to get, instead of allowing it to disturb our peace, we view it as an opportunity to practice resilience and self-control. We remind ourselves that external events don't define our worth, and our peace comes from how we respond to them. Additionally, detachment from outcomes plays a crucial role in Stoicism. The Stoic understands that our sense of fulfillment should not depend on whether a relationship or connection works out as we desire. By adopting a detached mindset, we avoid becoming consumed by the need for someone's approval or attention. We realize that trying to seek validation from others only leads to frustration and anxiety. Instead, we focus on our own virtues, developing character, pursuing personal growth, and maintaining our own sense of purpose. In practical terms, this involves accepting the situation for what it is, without resistance or excessive emotional investment. We detach from the desire for external validation and redirect our focus toward self-improvement. When we are calm and grounded in ourselves, our energy becomes more attractive because it signals confidence, self-assurance, and emotional stability, qualities that naturally draw others toward us. Ultimately, the Stoic approach to staying calm when someone plays hard to get is about recognizing what is within our control and what is not. By practicing acceptance, detachment, and self-control, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil of dependence and create space for peace, confidence, and growth. Number 2. High-value women, mastering self-control when he ignores you. Mastering self-control when a man ignores you is a key trait of high-value women. In situations where someone's behavior, such as ignoring, seems to signal disinterest or detachment, the tendency can be to react with frustration, insecurity, or the need for validation. However, high-value women understand that their worth is not determined by another person's behavior or attention. Instead, they prioritize self-control and emotional resilience, recognizing that their value comes from within, not from external validation. Self-control begins with maintaining emotional composure and not allowing the actions of others to dictate how we feel about ourselves. High-value women understand that attachment to someone's behavior, like waiting for a response or interpreting silence as a lack of interest, can lead to emotional dependency and instability. They refuse to let someone's lack of attention disrupt their peace. Instead, they focus on what is within their control, their own thoughts, feelings, and actions. By practicing self-control, they choose not to react impulsively, but rather remain grounded in their sense of self-worth. Detachment is another vital aspect of self-control. High-value women understand that the attention of others is not necessary to validate their worth. They let go of the need to seek approval or confirmation and trust that their value remains intact, regardless of how others behave. This detachment doesn't come from a place of indifference, but from a deep understanding that external validation isn't a requirement for self-esteem. Instead, they channel their energy into self-improvement, personal growth, and maintaining boundaries that protect their emotional well-being. High-value women also recognize that attention and affection should be offered freely, not demanded. They avoid chasing or clinging to people who may not value or appreciate them. When someone ignores them, they respond with grace, calmly acknowledging that they deserve respect and attention from those who are genuinely invested in their lives. By choosing not to react with desperation or neediness, they avoid creating an imbalance of power in relationships. Instead, they project confidence and self-respect, qualities that naturally attract others. In mastering self-control, high-value women focus on their own growth and well-being, realizing that their worth is not dependent on external validation or the behavior of others. They understand that people who ignore or undervalue them are not deserving of their energy and attention. By staying composed, practicing self-respect, and detaching from the outcome, they maintain their peace, confidence, and sense of worth, ultimately attracting individuals who truly value and appreciate them. Number 3. How silence and detachment can boost your value. Silence and detachment are powerful tools that can significantly boost your value and elevate your sense of self-worth. In a world that often emphasizes constant interaction, validation, and the need for attention, silence and detachment offer a counterintuitive approach to confidence and self-control. When you practice silence, you create space for reflection and self-awareness, allowing you to detach from the noise of external validation. By remaining calm and composed, rather than seeking constant approval or attention, you convey a sense of inner peace and strength that becomes inherently attractive. Detachment, on the other hand, allows you to free yourself from the need for validation or the fear of rejection. When you detach from outcomes and avoid becoming overly invested in the approval or attention of others, you naturally project an air of confidence and self-sufficiency. People are often drawn to those who appear grounded, unaffected by the opinions of others. When you stop clinging to outcomes, such as whether someone responds to you or acknowledges your worth, you signal that your value isn't tied to their behavior. This detachment fosters a sense of inner power and control, making you less reactive to others' judgments or actions. Moreover, silence and detachment help set boundaries that protect your energy and emotional well-being. When you disengage from the constant need for attention, you cultivate stronger connections with those who respect your boundaries and value your presence. The result is deeper, more meaningful relationships built on mutual respect rather than dependency. People are drawn to those who maintain a sense of independence and confidence, as these qualities often reflect high value and self-worth. In essence, silence and detachment don't diminish your value. Rather, they enhance it. By embracing these practices, you become less reliant on external validation and more focused on your own growth and peace. This self-assured mindset naturally attracts others who appreciate your worth, reinforcing the idea that your value is intrinsic and cannot be diminished by the actions or attention of others. Number 4. The power of absence. Creating desire through detachment. The power of absence lies in its ability to create desire through detachment. When someone pulls away or becomes distant, the natural reaction might be to pursue or seek their attention, but this often has the opposite effect. By stepping back and removing yourself from their immediate focus, you allow space for them to reflect on your value. Detachment, in this context, doesn't mean indifference. Rather, it's a conscious choice to give others room to recognize what they've taken for granted. The absence of constant pursuit triggers curiosity, making people wonder about what they've lost or overlooked. When you're constantly available and pursuing someone who is distant, they may become complacent, failing to appreciate the effort and attention you provide. However, when you create distance, you signal that your worth isn't dependent on their actions or attention, and this creates a vacuum that others often seek to fill. Detachment demonstrates self-respect and confidence, which are attractive qualities. When you stop chasing after someone who seems uninterested, you show that your value isn't something to be taken lightly. High-value individuals understand that their worth isn't diminished by someone else's absence, and this self-assuredness often draws people back. The more you pull away, the more others begin to realize your worth, especially when they start to see the boundaries you've set and the respect you command. Absence makes the heart grow fonder because it emphasizes the idea that what is not easily accessible becomes more desirable. Moreover, by creating distance, you're focusing on yourself and your own growth rather than being consumed by someone who is unresponsive. This inward focus shifts your attention away from external validation and toward self-improvement. As you invest your energy into becoming the best version of yourself, your confidence and self-worth naturally increase. When others observe your growth, they're drawn to your sense of purpose and strength, often wondering what they might have missed out on. This distance creates a contrast between what you were and what you've become, further enhancing your value in their eyes. Detachment also allows others to experience the consequences of their actions. When someone ignores you or pulls away, they may not fully grasp the impact of their behavior until it's too late. By giving them space, you create the opportunity for them to realize what they've lost. People are often more likely to appreciate what they have when it's no longer readily available. In this way, absence becomes a powerful tool for sparking desire and fostering reflection. Ultimately, the power of absence lies in its ability to create a sense of scarcity, which often leads to increased desire. Detachment doesn't mean surrender or submission. It's a demonstration of self-worth and confidence that naturally draws others back. When you step away, you signal that your attention isn't something that should be taken for granted, creating a space where others must consider your value from a different perspective. Number 5. Self-validation over external approval. Self-validation is a cornerstone of personal power and self-worth. Unlike external approval, which relies on the validation and acceptance of others, self-validation comes from within and is grounded in your own understanding of your value, regardless of external circumstances. When you seek external approval, you may find yourself constantly chasing after the attention, recognition, or validation of others. This pursuit often leaves you feeling insecure and dependent on external factors, leading to a lack of inner peace and confidence. On the other hand, self-validation focuses on recognizing your own worth without needing others to confirm it. It involves acknowledging your strengths, accomplishments, and qualities, independent of outside opinions or judgments. One of the most powerful aspects of self-validation is that it empowers you to remain grounded and secure, even when others fail to appreciate your worth. When you rely on external validation, your sense of self can easily be swayed by others' opinions, leaving you vulnerable to their approval or disapproval. However, when you prioritize self-validation, you become more resilient to external influences. You understand that your value isn't tied to someone else's opinion, but rather it is something you cultivate within yourself. This internal foundation of confidence allows you to navigate life with greater stability and peace of mind. Another key benefit of self-validation is that it encourages authenticity. When you seek external approval, you may find yourself conforming to the expectations of others, shaping your actions and decisions to gain their approval. However, self-validation allows you to remain true to your values, beliefs, and desires. You act in alignment with your authentic self, rather than trying to fit into someone else's mold. This authenticity naturally attracts those who resonate with your true essence, creating more meaningful and fulfilling connections. Moreover, self-validation reduces the need for constant reassurance and validation from others. It fosters a sense of inner strength as you trust in your own worth and capabilities. When faced with rejection or indifference, rather than feeling diminished or incomplete, you remain confident in your own value. This self-assuredness often draws others toward you, as they are naturally drawn to those who radiate confidence and self-worth. Lastly, self-validation creates space for personal growth. When you seek external approval, your focus is often external, on what others think, feel, or say about you. However, self-validation shifts your focus inward, encouraging you to reflect on your own progress, learn from your experiences, and continue evolving. By embracing self-validation, you prioritize your development and well-being, ensuring that your sense of worth remains anchored in who you are, not in how others perceive you. In essence, self-validation over external approval is a pathway to greater inner peace, confidence, and authenticity. It allows you to cultivate a deep sense of self-worth that is not dependent on others' opinions, empowering you to live a more grounded, fulfilled life. Number 6. Stoic wisdom, knowing when to let go and move forward. Stoic wisdom teaches us that one of the most essential practices in life is the art of letting go and moving forward. The Stoics emphasize the concept of amor fati, the love of fate, and the acceptance that some things are beyond our control. Holding on to what we cannot change leads to unnecessary suffering, while acceptance and detachment allow us to focus on what truly matters: our responses, actions, and inner peace. The first step in this Stoic approach is recognizing what is within our control and what is not. Control lies in our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while external events, people, circumstances, or outcomes are beyond our influence. Letting go involves releasing attachments to outcomes, desires, or relationships that no longer serve us. When we cling to what has passed or what might never come to fruition, we create mental clutter that weighs us down. The Stoics understood that to achieve tranquility, we must accept the natural flow of life and the impermanence of all things. By letting go of attachments, we free ourselves from the chains of desire and fear. It doesn't mean we abandon our goals or aspirations, but rather we acknowledge that the outcome isn't always in our hands. Acceptance brings clarity, allowing us to act with wisdom rather than react with emotion. Moving forward, according to Stoic philosophy, requires us to focus on what we can change and adapt to what we cannot. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or loss, but rather acknowledging those experiences and choosing to rise above them. The Stoics taught that we should not allow external events to dictate our happiness or sense of self-worth. Instead, we should strive to cultivate virtue and resilience, letting go of what hinders our progress. When we focus on what remains within our control, our own character, judgments, and actions, we find a sense of freedom that comes from embracing the present moment and trusting the unfolding of events. One of the key Stoic principles here is memento mori, reminding ourselves of our mortality. Life is fleeting and time is limited. Holding on to the past or clinging to the fear of the future prevents us from fully embracing the now. By recognizing the transient nature of life, we are better able to let go of what no longer serves us and direct our energy toward what can contribute to our growth and well-being. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can do today rather than dwelling on what we cannot change. Letting go also requires developing resilience and strength. The Stoics believed that adversity is a part of life, and how we respond to it determines our character. When we let go, we become more adaptable, capable of handling life's inevitable challenges with calmness and composure. Resilience is built not by avoiding difficulties, but by accepting them and using them as opportunities for growth. Moving forward, then, becomes an act of deliberate choice, choosing to align ourselves with virtue and reason rather than succumbing to emotional reactions or self-limiting beliefs. In essence, Stoic wisdom teaches us that letting go and moving forward is not about resignation, but about embracing the freedom that comes from acceptance and awareness. By focusing on what is within our control, we cultivate the strength to face life's uncertainties and challenges with courage and clarity. Letting go allows us to live in harmony with the natural flow of life, freeing us from the burdens of the past and empowering us to pursue what is truly within our grasp. Number 7. Why ignoring the chase leads to respect and attraction. Ignoring the chase is a powerful strategy that leads to respect and attraction because it taps into fundamental human dynamics of value, desire, and self-worth. When we chase after someone who isn't fully invested, we often project a sense of neediness and insecurity. This behavior tends to diminish our perceived value in their eyes. However, by choosing to ignore the chase and instead focus on our own growth and self-improvement, we signal that we are confident, self-assured, and emotionally stable. People are naturally drawn to those who demonstrate strength and independence, qualities that are often undermined when we desperately pursue attention or validation. When we ignore the chase, we create space for others to reflect on what they may have taken for granted. The absence of constant pursuit often triggers curiosity, as it forces others to wonder why we are no longer engaging or seeking their attention. This shift creates a dynamic where they must confront their own feelings, leading to increased respect. When someone realizes that their attention or approval isn't easily obtained, they begin to perceive us as more valuable. The less accessible we become through constant pursuit, the more they may begin to see us as someone who understands their worth, thus increasing their attraction. Moreover, ignoring the chase fosters an atmosphere of self-respect and boundaries. High-value individuals recognize that their time and energy are limited and that chasing someone who isn't fully invested is a poor use of that energy. Instead of seeking validation or approval, they prioritize their own goals, passions, and personal development. This self-focus not only enhances their own confidence, but also sends a message that they are not desperate or dependent on others' attention. People are naturally drawn to those who are grounded in their self-worth and detachment from the need to chase signals that you value yourself first. The act of ignoring the chase also builds anticipation. When we pull back from constant pursuit, we give others the opportunity to come to us, rather than feeling forced or pressured. This distance often creates a sense of mystery and intrigue, which heightens attraction. When someone must put in the effort to pursue us, they begin to appreciate our worth and become more invested in the connection. The power shift from chasing to being chased increases their respect because they now see that we are not easily accessible and thus more desirable. Furthermore, ignoring the chase allows us to focus on our own self-improvement and personal growth. When we invest in becoming the best version of ourselves, whether through self-discipline, pursuing our passions, or cultivating emotional resilience, we naturally radiate confidence. This confidence is incredibly attractive, as it communicates that we are not dependent on external validation or others' approval. People respect those who are secure and self-reliant, and by stepping away from the chase, we become a magnet for those who are drawn to authenticity and self-assurance. In the end, ignoring the chase teaches others to respect and value us for who we are, not just for what we provide or how accessible we are. It creates a dynamic where attraction is earned, not forced, and where respect flows naturally from the perception of self-worth. Those who embrace this mindset often find that the right people are naturally drawn to them, while those who fail to appreciate their worth are left behind. Number 8. The mindset shift that makes you irresistible to others. The mindset shift that makes you irresistible to others is rooted in the understanding that your value isn't determined by external validation or the attention of others, but by your own self-awareness and confidence. When you shift your focus from seeking approval to embracing self-worth, you project an energy that naturally draws people toward you. This shift begins with the realization that your happiness, confidence, and sense of fulfillment come from within, not from the opinions or actions of others. When you stop relying on external validation, you free yourself from the need to chase after approval or attention, which often leads to feelings of insecurity and neediness. Instead, you cultivate an internal sense of self-assurance that radiates outward, making you appear grounded, centered, and emotionally secure. At the core of this mindset shift is the understanding that your worth isn't tied to others' behavior or interest. When you stop seeking validation and attention, you signal to others that you are self-sufficient and confident. This detachment from the need for external approval fosters an air of mystery and strength, which is highly attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and self-reliance because it signals emotional maturity and stability. When you let go of the need to control how others perceive you, you become more authentic and true to yourself, allowing others to connect with you on a deeper level. Additionally, this shift involves embracing the idea of self-improvement over self-validation. When you focus on personal growth, whether it's developing new skills, pursuing passions, or becoming the best version of yourself, you create an attractive energy that others find compelling. Confidence and self-awareness are magnets, drawing people who value authenticity and personal development. By investing in yourself, you show others that you are committed to becoming the best version of who you are, rather than trying to fit into someone else's mold or seeking their approval to feel whole. Another key element of this mindset shift is the understanding that respect and attraction come from the way you perceive yourself. When you see your own worth, others naturally begin to recognize it as well. People are drawn to those who have a clear sense of self, who aren't constantly seeking validation or approval, but who are secure in who they are. This mindset shift empowers you to set healthy boundaries, prioritize your own well-being, and let go of relationships or connections that no longer serve your growth. By doing so, you attract those who respect your boundaries and are genuinely drawn to your authenticity. Finally, the irresistible mindset shift is one of detachment from outcomes. When you release the need to control how others respond to you, you create space for genuine connections to develop. This detachment doesn't mean indifference, but rather an understanding that you cannot control how others perceive you. Instead, you focus on your own actions and the energy you put into the relationship, leaving the rest to unfold naturally. When people sense that you are self-assured and comfortable in your own skin, they are naturally drawn to you, as they seek out those who are emotionally stable, confident, and grounded. In essence, the mindset shift that makes you irresistible to others is one of self-awareness, self-worth, and emotional independence. When you let go of the need for external validation, embrace personal growth, and shift your focus inward, you become a source of authentic attraction. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves, who prioritize their own well-being, and who aren't afraid to be true to who they are. By adopting this mindset, you create a powerful magnetic energy that naturally draws others toward you, fostering deeper, more meaningful connections. Number 9. Why patience and detachment are keys to healthy connections. Patience and detachment are essential keys to fostering healthy and meaningful connections. In a world where instant gratification often dominates, the virtues of patience and detachment can feel counterintuitive, but they are crucial for creating genuine, lasting relationships. Patience allows us to understand that healthy connections take time to develop and grow. Rushing relationships or expecting immediate results often leads to frustration, disappointment, and a sense of dissatisfaction. When we practice patience, we create space for trust, understanding, and mutual respect to form. This means allowing others the freedom to show up in their own time and on their own terms, rather than forcing or controlling the pace of a relationship. Patience requires us to accept that not everything unfolds according to our expectations, and that some things take time, especially when it comes to emotional bonds. Detachment complements patience by removing the need for constant control or attachment to outcomes. When we become overly attached to how others should behave or the desired results of a connection, we often set ourselves up for disappointment. Detachment doesn't mean apathy, rather, it is the ability to let go of attachment to expectations, outcomes, or the need for external validation. When we practice detachment, we are better able to focus on what is within our control, our own thoughts, emotions, and actions, and release what is beyond our influence. This detachment creates the mental clarity needed to approach relationships with a sense of calm, allowing them to develop naturally and authentically. In healthy connections, patience and detachment allow space for both individuals to grow individually while nurturing their bond. When we detach from the need for immediate validation or attention, we signal to others that we value our own autonomy and emotional well-being. This often inspires the same behavior from them, fostering an environment of mutual respect. When both parties are allowed to focus on their own growth, the connection becomes stronger as each person becomes more confident and self-assured. The absence of control or excessive attachment creates room for genuine, meaningful interactions, as people are drawn to those who are secure in themselves. Moreover, patience and detachment reduce the tendency toward neediness or desperation, which can be detrimental to healthy connections. When we are patient, we avoid the pressure to meet others' expectations or adhere to unrealistic timelines. Detachment prevents us from placing undue importance on someone's actions or reactions, which often leads to a sense of dependence. Instead, we focus on cultivating our own well-being, setting boundaries, and living authentically. This emotional independence strengthens our sense of self and ensures that our connections are based on mutual respect rather than dependency. Patience and detachment also create a sense of balance in relationships. When one person becomes overly attached or consumed by a connection, it often results in an imbalance of power or emotional dependency. Patience allows each person to show up as their best selves, contributing to the relationship in a way that feels authentic and sustainable. Detachment ensures that neither person feels compelled to conform to the other's expectations, allowing for healthier dynamics and more genuine connections. When both individuals prioritize their own growth, they can contribute to a relationship in a way that enhances each other's lives rather than draining them. In the end, patience and detachment help foster connections that are rooted in authenticity, respect, and mutual understanding. By letting go of the need to control outcomes or seek constant validation, we create space for meaningful relationships to flourish naturally. When both parties practice patience and detachment, they create an environment where connections are built on trust, growth, and a deep appreciation for each other's individuality. Number 10. Empowerment. Through detachment, becoming unshakable in your worth. Empowerment through detachment involves cultivating a mindset that separates your sense of self-worth from external circumstances and the opinions of others. When we become overly attached to the validation or approval of others, we risk losing our inner peace and allowing external factors to dictate our sense of self-worth. However, by embracing detachment, we create a foundation of confidence that remains unshakable, no matter the external conditions or circumstances. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or neglect, but rather the ability to separate our sense of value from outcomes, results, or the approval of others. When we let go of the need to seek validation, we free ourselves from the constant dependence on external feedback. This shift allows us to build a sense of self-worth that is rooted in internal values and beliefs rather than external validation. By focusing on our own growth, principles, and goals, we cultivate a deep sense of self-respect that isn't easily influenced by the actions or opinions of others. When we practice detachment, we become less reactive to external events or the behavior of others. This helps protect our emotional well-being and allows us to stay centered, regardless of how others perceive us. The result is a stronger sense of self-confidence and resilience, as we no longer rely on others to define our worth. Instead, we are grounded in our own values, beliefs, and purpose, creating a stable foundation from which we operate. Empowerment through detachment also allows us to set healthy boundaries. By separating ourselves emotionally from the need for constant validation or attention, we create space for others to show respect and appreciation for who we are, not for what we provide or how they perceive us. This detachment fosters deeper, more authentic connections, as we are no longer clinging to outcomes or results, but instead allowing genuine connections to develop naturally. Ultimately, empowerment through detachment leads to a sense of inner freedom and self-assurance. By prioritizing our own values and beliefs, we become unshakable in our worth. No longer dependent on external circumstances, we cultivate a confidence that remains steady and resilient, allowing us to navigate life with grace and strength.